The A-League main competition is back after the international break, and just 5 rounds into the season, we are set for what could potentially be the most exciting round this season so far. Some derby matches, some really high-quality matchups in this weekend. Let's jump into my round 5 predictions. Starting us off on Friday evening is Macarthur, Melbourne Victory. Two teams who are undefeated this season. This should be a great game to watch. And a match that I think, I feel like people will just be, calling Melbourne Victory to win this one. But I think it could be closer than some people expect. I'm actually going to go ahead and call a Macarthur FC win. I think the Bulls get up in this one. I've been really impressed with how Macarthur have approached this season so far. Rafael Borges Rodriguez is having, I guess, even though he's been involved in the A-League for a few years now at Melbourne City, he's finally getting his chance in starting in the first team lineup at Macarthur FC. He's been looking great. Valerie Germain, if they can get him scoring some more goals, this is a team who, if they can keep up this form, could be heading into a top 6 finish this season. But Melbourne Victory, haven't they looked good this season? Bruno Fornaroli in fantastic form. Daniel Arzani's looking good. Zinedine Machash has settled in very quickly to the A-Leagues. A good balance that Melbourne Victory have found so far this season when you look at the lineup. I think the Bulls just get ahead in this one. It could easily swing either way, but I think the home crowd advantage might get Bulls across the line in this one. 2-1, a close one. And then Saturday, we've got 3 matches and it kicks off in New Zealand with Phoenix City. And I'm going to go for, I get nothing against the Melbourne teams, but I think Wellington Phoenix, again, another one of these teams who just surprise, as they do every season. After losing so many key players after a decent campaign last time around, and, Giancarlo Italiano coming in and doing a fantastic job with the players that are still there at the club. Zawada's still looking great. Kraev is scoring goals this season. The new formation that they're playing, sort of the 4-3-3, the Christmas tree formation that they're playing there at Phoenix is really working a treat. And against a Melbourne City team who is still just looking really shaky. So far, the worst defence in the league for the rating premiers, which is really unusual for Melbourne City. They really have to tighten up at the back. And I think, it's always a tricky match, travelling away to New Zealand. And, whether Jamie McLaren features in this game, obviously he's, going to be returning sort of last minute, I guess, after featuring for the Socceroos over in Kuwait just a few days prior. Wellington Phoenix, I think they get up in this one, 2-1 win. It's the first F3 derby of this season, and this one stands as a perfect opportunity for the reigning champions, my team, Central Coast Mariners, to finally get the season up and running, finally win a game. 4 losses to start the season. I believe it's the worst ever start for a reigning champion. So Mark Jackson simply needs to turn this around as soon as possible, or otherwise, if this keeps going, Mariners won't be playing finals football this season, which would be a disaster for a team who won the championship last year. Look, to be fair, obviously there's so many new players that have to be integrated, but some of these new players have been here for a few months now, and Mariners have been busy in the AFC Cup as well, playing games. It's time for the likes of Angel Torres, for Mikael Docker, for these guys to really show why they were brought into the club, and a good opportunity here against their bitter rivals Newcastle Jets, who I've been impressed with this season, even though the results haven't been there. They scored 3 goals away to Melbourne Victory. They came close to beating Western Sydney Wanderers, and they got a good win on the road to Western United in the previous round. Newcastle Jets, I think, are a team who have a serious chance of pushing into the finals this year if they can keep up this form. The likes of Clayton Taylor, Lockie Bayliss, Apostolos Stamatolopoulos, these new signings really looking pretty good so far for the Jets. What is my prediction for this one? I'm going to go 2-2. I don't think this is the game that Mariners finally win. I think Newcastle do have too much, they won't go down easily in this one. They'll want to keep up, their winning ways after winning last round. Mariners, though, I think, to finally snag a point in this match. And then right after the F3 derby, it is the Sydney derby, Sydney FC, Western Sydney Wanderers. And this one is set up beautifully. The narratives around it are very, very exciting. You've got the 2 head coaches, 2 former Sydney FC teammates in Marco Rudan and Ufuk Talay. And what a start for Talay in that last game for Sydney FC, with a huge win on the road to Adelaide United after such a disastrous start for Sydney FC. They look like a completely new side already. And what a statement it would be to, win against their bitter rivals West Sydney Wanderers, who they themselves have looked very strong once again to start off this campaign. This one is a tricky one to call. look, you'd probably go Wanderers based off the form so far this season, but I think Adelaide has already really rejuvenated this squad. You can just to win 5-1 away to Adelaide, that's really saying something, and I think I'd expect someone like Jaden Kucharski to start again, who scored a couple goals on the road to Adelaide as well. He could be set for a big season, the youngster as well. I'm actually going to go ahead and call a Sydney FC win in this game. 3-2. Again, this is one where it could swing either way. All these games are really, really close. That's why I think this round is going to be so exciting to watch. Nothing against Wanderers. I think they've been really impressive this season. Antonsen scoring last time around as well. The lineup they have is very strong, but Sky Blues, I think at home, will get the win here in this one. Will be a close one. Great match to watch this weekend. Raw return to Suncorp once again this season as they host Perth Glory. Brisbane Raw. Up and down so far this season, but look, they'll want to create some decent home form. They got the win against Sydney FC in round 2. They want to make Suncorp a fortress, build the crowds there once again. They're coming up against a Perth Glory side who I think under Alan Stajic have looked okay, but still looking to sort of find their feet, find their strongest lineup. Perth Glory, they have looked okay this season. Do they get a result here? I think it would be tough for the Glory to get a result. I think Brisbane Raw, especially at home, will just have enough to get through in this game. Thomas Waddingham, he scored last time around against the Mariners. Henry Hall's been looking good this season. Florent Berenguer settling in well. I think Brisbane have just a little bit more ahead of Perth Glory. 2-0 win in this game. And then rounding us off is Western United, Adelaide United, the Battle of the Uniteds. This match taking place in Ballarat in regional Victoria. I think the Reds get up for a 2-1 win in this game. A response is needed after that really awful home defeat against Sydney FC last time around for Adelaide. And Western United, a funny situation there where, they won the opening match of the season against Melbourne City, and you thought, oh wow, this Western United side looks really good. But since then, it's really fallen apart. And defensively, I think is where defense and in midfield is where they're sort of trying to find a balance there. The signings that they brought in, were impressive with Pena and Thurgates there, but for whatever reason, it's just not clicking, especially defensively. That's where they're really being let down. Western United, I think it might be a bit tricky for them to turn it around against a team like Adelaide United, who, the youngsters who have come in and they've just done a fantastic job already this season. Nestori Irankunda to return potentially on the score sheet once again this game. I'm going to say Reds win 2-1. Drop your predictions down in the comment section below. Thanks, guys, so much for tuning in. My name's Lockie. This is Coast Watch Football. Subscribe for more Australian football content. See you in the next one.